What's up everybody? Today we are doing our monthly sold wrap up for the month of July. This can be everything that's sold on eBay and Depop because that's my primary selling platforms and whatnot, I guess, but I didn't sell on whatnot. We'll go over the listings, overhead costs, and profit margins for the month of 2026 July. Let's head over to the computer. All right, starting off with July's first sale was this pair of True Religion jeans. I believe I got these on a Facebook Marketplace bundle, flipped it for 30-ish. Next up, we got this Levi's denim jacket, sold it for 25. I believe I got this one in my box, my bail box from China. Next was this pair of Red Dragon denim jeans that I sold for 27. I got these at the Rag House for probably like $1 or so. Next, I sold this Toronto Raptors NBA jersey for 33. I got this in a Goodwill bail break, I believe. Keep in mind these prices right here are not the actual sold price and the other page is. This one took a little bit longer to sell than I thought it would, but it did sell within a couple months. Next up, for $22, this Polo Ralph Lauren kind of windbreaker rain jacket style. I've been experimenting with this style for posting the measurements so that you don't have to take one picture of the length and one picture of the up and down. If the back is blank, I just leave the tape measure like that because it's not really like blocking anything, and as long as it's not blocking any major flaws, I've been doing this to knock it down to 3 pictures usually instead of 4 or 5, just to save a little bit of extra time listing. Next, we did a 4-item bundle, some polos and some Harley. First, just a gray polo. Second, this Harley Davidson striped. I believe I got this one out of a bail break, so this was probably like 20 cents. Had a small stain on it. And then in the same bundle, I got this 0.0, had a little bit of staining, but this like vintage, very worn 0.0 t-shirt, kind of quarter button. I've sold a lot of 0.0, not a ton of 0.0. I've sold a decent amount of 0.0 actually. And the more faded it is like this, the better it seems to do. And then the last one in that bundle is a DC striped black, blue, gray polo that I got from the Rag House, I believe, for like probably 50 cents or $1. So that bundle was a total of $82, $83 before any fees, which is a pretty good sale. Next up, I sold these coveralls. Had a bunch of distressing, made in Canada, so vintage Gap, a little bit of staining, but they did sell for $37.80. And I believe I got that in a Goodwill bail break before they switched to their bail boxes. Next, I sold these Quicksilver shorts for $22.50. I believe I got these at the Rag House, but they might have came from the bins. I vaguely remember picking these out of the bins. A little bit of staining on them again, but they did sell for still $20. Summertime right now, so shorts, board shorts, seem to be doing well for me. Next up, sold this Big Pony for $50. I know for a fact I got this out of the bins for probably $2 maybe. And the key to this one, I was like one of the first people at the bins this day and I got this. So that one I think was a lucky pull because I was one of the first people into the bins that morning. But a very cool Big Pony Ralph Lauren. Next up, this camo long sleeve Pro Action, sold it for $25. Camo's in, quarter button. Next up, for $19, sold these FIFA Adidas striped ladies shorts, easy 15. Next up, I sold a bundle for $30, so each piece was 15. I believe I got this MGK concert tee out of a bail, I believe. I wasn't actually gonna sell it originally because the quality was not very good and it was pretty small, but I thought because it's MGK and so I just listed it to see what would happen, and sure enough, it did end up selling. Next, I got this Nike center swoosh, sold that in the same bundle. Next up, for $20, we got a green polo. Picked this up off of a Marketplace bundle. I got like 20 polos for like $40 maybe or something. Next up, another polo for around 20. Same story out of the same bundle. Polos seem to move fairly quickly if they're striped, Big Pony, and around that $20 mark. That is the key that I found to polos. The more striped or unique they are, and around that if they're more unique, you can get about 30 to 40, but if you want to move them quick, 20, 25, they'll be gone within a couple days if you don't want to hold on to the inventory. Next up, for $20, this Quicksilver, which I believe I either got this in my very first bail break or I got it from the Rag House. So if I got it out of the bail break, this was probably like a $10 overhead item because that first bail box that I got out of BC was very expensive and my cost per item was like $10 or $12 plus once shipping and everything was included. And it was pretty beat, this one, a lot of stains. So it was either a $10 overhead or a $2 overhead, but it did sell eventually. I've had this one for a while, I believe. Then near the end of the month, I started experimenting with boosting. I tried boosting my entire profile, and that night I got 2 boosted sales like really quickly. I thought, oh, I'm just gonna boost everything because things are moving a whole lot quicker while boosted, and I haven't sold a boosted item since, and that was almost a month ago. So I don't really know if boosting actually does anything. However, this sale was a boosted sale. I found this FIFA World Cup Germany champion, like this is when they won the World Cup, I believe back in 2014, but it is very, 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 very stained. I tried to get a lot of the stuff out and some came out, but not all of it, but I still sold it for $19. Didn't get a bad review or anything. I just made sure, like I messaged them, I said, make sure you're good with the stains on it because this one is heavily stained. Make sure you look at the pictures. No issues with that one, and it's still sold despite the staining. Another boosted item sold for $20. I got this Victoria's Secret silk pajama set in a bale break. So my cost on this one was probably like 20 cents. Sold it as the whole set. Did I say 2 cents? I don't know what I just said. Next up, another bundle. We sold quite a few bundles I'm noticing this month, which is good. I do offer free shipping on bundles. So I do think that helps a little bit. I was gonna experiment because I have so much inventory right now. I was gonna experiment with free shipping across my whole page, but I've also been experimenting with like just moving things for like $10 or $15. So it's kind of got to be a catch-22. It's either selling for cheap or selling for a bit more and offset the shipping. I don't know what's more enticing to people, just seeing the original raw cheap number or seeing free shipping. People are still just gonna try and lowball you and keep hitting that automatic 15% off send offer thing. So I don't know what is best yet. One day I'm gonna make a video on all my theories on Depop. So our next bundle for $42, we sold 2 hoodies. This green Carhartt hoodie, which I got in my very, very first bale or reseller wholesale box out of a company in BC, which was, in my opinion, not worth it because like I said, the overhead on these items was like $12 a piece. Next was this Volcom hoodie, which may or may not have also come from the same place, or it may have came from a bale. I've gotten so many bales now that I'm starting to lose track of where I got things from. I'm pretty sure this came out of the box with the high overhead. And then our second last item, $27, was these vintage Wrangler camo shorts. I got these out of a reseller inventory buyout. Found someone on Facebook. They were reselling their entire inventory. So I think for $100, I got like 400 items. So can't really go wrong with that. Couldn't even go wrong with like even all the crap that was in it for $100. I mean, this paid for half of it almost already. And then last but not least, for the month of January, was this alpaca fur knit kind of vintage looking long sleeve. It was very, very small, so I wasn't sure it was gonna sell. Even though it said it was a medium, it's like probably like an extra small. I don't know if it's because the wool shrinks or what it is, but I wasn't sure if this one was actually gonna sell, but it did sell for me. Now heading over to eBay, we had 2 sold items on eBay despite having pretty much everything I have on Depop. Almost everything I have on Depop is cross-listed onto eBay, and eBay just, I don't know what it is, just doesn't seem to sell that fast for me. I don't know if it's the type of items or whatnot. I try and only cross-list the eBayable items, but I've been starting to experiment with just listing everything on eBay because why not with the cross-lister. But like I said, I experimented with boosting on Depop a little bit, and then you can see how many views things are getting. And they get like anywhere from, I don't know, 300 to a couple thousand views on Depop. But when I list them on eBay, I've also experience with promoting or not promoting on eBay. Even with them being promoted, I get like 3, maybe 10 views on an item on eBay. So I just don't know if I'm using the right keywords. I'm using the same like description as Depop, or if it's not the right items, or if there's just that many items that I'm just getting filtered out on eBay, like that many other people selling. Yeah, I don't seem to have a ton of luck on eBay. However, we did sell these thrashed Carhartt pants for $110, which was a very good haul for one item. And they're actually not in too bad shape. They just have a ton of like stains and paint splashed all over them, but apparently that adds to the value with Carhartt and people love that. So if you have Carhartt that is thrashed and destroyed, it'll probably sell for a premium. And the last item we sold on eBay was this Frank and Elena. I got this one out of a reseller inventory buyout that I found on Facebook Marketplace. Originally, I knew nothing about this brand. I found comps on eBay all the way up from $50 to $110. So I thought, you know, let's list it and see what happens. And there's quite a few of them actually listed. So I took a shot and it did sell, and I just probably took a little bit less than what the average sell price was, but I just wanted to get things moving because I have so much inventory from past bales and this inventory buyout that I just need to start getting rid of things. And I don't really care to get like the top dollar for it. I'm just trying to move things and make like a steady income. We go download sales, we go to the start of July and hit download, and it'll give you a little spreadsheet of everything that you sold and your fees and costs and all that stuff. All right, so this is our spreadsheet that Depop spits out for us. Add a little bit of information for my private sales and my eBay sales because they do not have the same kind of breakdown sheet. And the Depop one is actually really nice because it gives you quite a bit of information. You could trend it if you really wanted to. It gives you the time of day it sold, the brand, the size, fees, all that kind of stuff. So in the month of July, we sold a total of 22 items on Depop, whether that's bundles or individual items, 22 items. eBay, only 2 items. And then I did a couple private sales. If anyone actually watches my content I sell bulk, quote unquote, junk t-shirts. Not, when I say junk, I mean more not vintage and that kind of thing. They're still good t-shirts. They're just people that just want excess clothes. I have some people that have some clothing shops that just buy bulk clothes from me, and anything that's not vintage that I can sell, it's just regular t-shirts, throws, cardigans, that kind of thing that they think is great for their business. So I did sell a bunch of private sales clothes to those people, and I did 4 or 5 different bundles, and I sell it by the pound. So if we add up our total sales, take off our Depop fees, and take off our shipping cost, which I average around $6 to $7 in shipping. Sometimes it costs me $4 to send, and sometimes it costs me $20 to send something, depending where it is, if it's in the States or on the other side of Canada. Take this with a grain of salt. These are just the predetermined shipping prices that I set for each item. In Canada, we have to set our own shipping. It doesn't do like auto-calculated shipping like it does on eBay, but for Depop, we have to set our own price and then source our own shipping, and it doesn't give us a label based on the size, dimensions, and that kind of thing like eBay does. So on average, it's about $6. So after we take that off, our Depop fees, taxes, and that kind of thing, we made $535 on Depop. eBay, we sold 2 items after fees for about $145. Those Carhartt pants really carried that sale. And then private sales, like I said, between any bulk stuff that I sold on Facebook or to my bulk buyer clients, I think I sold to 3 or 4 people for a total of $260, for a total of $940 on the month of July, which is not bad. I multiplied that by about 1% to take off 1% of those profits for like bags, shipping labels, tape, boxes, anything that I need to cover the like shipping logistics. I have been reusing Amazon bags that I get, so that does cut down on some of the fees for buying mailers and that kind of thing. But when you use Amazon bags, you also have to buy tape versus your poly mailer, which already has like the quick strip and the glue. So you are paying for tape versus a poly mailer, where if you're using the poly mailer, you have to pay for the poly mailer, but no tape. So a bit of a catch-22, but it does, I believe, help out a little bit for not blowing through poly mailers quite so fast. So in the grand scheme of things, we sold about $920 online for the month of July, which is not bad. The month of July, I didn't post a ton. I kind of started to get back into posting more inventory because I didn't have a ton of inventory. I was really busy. Didn't have a lot of stuff posted in June, which really dipped my sales in June. And I think that carried over a little bit more into July because the algorithm is now just like coming back up from the dip. About halfway through July, I did get that inventory buyout off of Facebook Marketplace. So I was able to start listing a whole lot of items in the later half of July, which I have started to see my sales pick up now that I'm listing a whole lot more. I try and list about 5 a day. So for the month of July, on Depop here, it says I listed 67 items. I would have also cross-listed those onto eBay. 30 times 5 is like where I would like to be for the number of items listed. Obviously, that was only like 2 a day if you're listing 67 a month, approximately. If you're listing 5 a day, that's I think over 200 items, quick maths. My shop overview, I believe I have around 400 items total on it, 400 to 450 items total. So I think if you can stay around that 400 item mark on Depop, you're gonna sell about $500 to $600 worth of items. Obviously, give or take the quality of items. Sometimes you're gonna have, if you have way higher end items, obviously that could be better. But if you're kind of weighing out the high end items and the low end items, meeting in the middle, you're probably around $600 a month. For the last couple months, I've kind of been around that $600 mark and still floating around that 400 kind of items listed. So yeah, I think we are about on par with our last couple months. Like I said, around that $600 to $800 mark on Depop, and then for a total of around 1,000 between all platforms. So that's what sold on Depop and eBay for the month of July. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you in the next wrap-up video, or hopefully a vlog soon. I've been lacking on my vlogging, but they are coming. Peace. Just send me an